Paris, August 1963. The Arc de Triomphe, the Champs-Élysées, en route to Rome. En route to Nevers, we stop for our packed lunch. Next day we are in the Italian Riviera. The sun is really beating down, and again we stop for a picnic lunch. The only complaint we had here was that the sweet edibles which we were enjoying attracted a lot of bees and insects. We are still passing through the Italian Riviera. We have left Nice where we had an overnight stop, and we are now on our way to Pisa. And here we approach the customs checkpoint. We leave France and enter Italy. Next morning we are in Pisa, and grouped around the statue of Our Lady Help of Christians, we sing our hymn, which is in effect our theme tune, as it were, the Lord hymn. The lady stayed in the convent which is just under the shade, as it were, of the Leaning Tower, and the men stayed in a hotel adjacent to the convent. And here we are now, visiting, as it were, the first great landmark in Italy, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the cathedral at Pisa, and the famous baptistry which has that remarkable echo. Due to an unpleasant hold-up in the lower Alps, we arrived in Pisa rather late the night before. We were greeted by a thunderstorm which I'm sure many of us will never forget. Yet when we arose the following morning, the sun was shining down in all its glory. And it is 11 o'clock the following morning, and we are in St. Peter's Square in Rome. For some of us, this was our first visit to the Eternal City. For others, it was our second. Here now are our party, walking freely through that great square, which seems to welcome everybody. It would be useless here to attempt to describe this famous spot to you. Rather, shall we await the experience which, please God, many of us will have the pleasure of enjoying on our next visit. These are some shots of St. Peter's and of the city of Rome, taken from the dome. Now we are looking out over the heart of Christendom. We are looking out over a city which has become famous because of the first apostle Peter. And we have come here because we know that still residing here is his successor. Looking to the rear of the dome, we see the Vatican Gardens and the Vatican railway station, which is used on rare occasions. This is the railway station which, if you will remember, the late Pope John the 23rd used when he went on that famous pilgrimage to Assisi and to Loreto. Now we are visiting the great church of St. Paul outside the walls. Rome has many famous churches, and it would be useless to attempt visiting them all. However, one picks out the most important ones and makes the best of visiting those. This is part of the old Roman Forum, and it is still renowned for its congregation, as it were, where the cats collect, and they are fed today as they were in olden times by visitors and the people of Rome. Now we are approaching the famous Colosseum, renowned because of its early Christian history. It is here we know, or we are told in our history books, that the early Christians were hurled to the wild animals by the pagan rulers of the time. And from here, the Christians retreated to the catacombs, which we shall visit later. One needs very little imagination to visualize what happened in the Roman Forum and Colosseum. In very bright sunshine, we visit the Victor Emmanuel Monument, better known to English-speaking tourists as the wedding cake. The temperature on this occasion was in the upper 90s.